Hello and a very warm welcome to World This Week by Latest Laws. This is our weekly program, so subscribe and press the bell icon to get notified. My name is Monica Rahar and let's get started by having a look at Supreme Court this week.
In a landmark judgment, the Honorable Apex Court has directed the government to ensure installation of CCTV cameras and recording equipments at each and every police station, at all entry and exit points, the main gate, the lockups, corridors and reception areas, so that no part is left uncovered. And this direction is also with respect to all interrogation rooms, lockups, which are used by various investigating agencies. And thus, this ruling will apply to probe agencies such as the CBI, the Enforcement Directorate, the NIA, apart from the police. The top court has rejected the demand to form a trust which is comprising of government nominees to oversee construction work at the 5-acre land which is allotted to Uttar Pradesh Sunni Central Waqf Board following the Supreme Court decision in the Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid title suit in November 2019. The Supreme Court has allowed the plea for anticipatory bail to Sumed Singh Saini, who is the former DGP of Punjab Police, in the murder case of Balwant Singh Multani after a similar plea was rejected by the High Court of Punjab and Haryana. People who are not wearing masks in public spaces are violating the fundamental right to life of others, stated the Supreme Court, as it asks all states to enforce the guidelines on wearing masks and social distancing religiously following it in the face of COVID-19 situation. A PIL in the Apex Court has challenged the laws brought by the governments of Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand to check religious conversions in their respective states, and this PIL it has sought directions to authorities not to give effect to the same. A former judge of the Andhra Pradesh High Court has moved the Supreme Court against an order of the High Court which has directed a probe into an alleged phone conversation between him and also a suspended trial court magistrate. The Apex Court has stayed an order of the Gujarat High Court that made it mandatory for those violating the face mask rules to do community service at COVID-19 centers.
Now let's proceed to the next segment of our news analysis and have a look at the Delhi High Court this week.
The AAP government has stated before the court that it has decided not to impose night curfews in Delhi as of now after assessing the present COVID-19 situation there. On November 26, the court had asked the government to submit its response on imposing night curfew without any delay. The government at that point of time stated before the court that it did not make any decision on it. However, the government was actively considering such an imposition. The court has allowed a student of the Jamia Millia Islamia University who is named Asif Iqbal, who was arrested in the Northeast Delhi violence case, to be kept in a guest house for appearing for his final examination, which is scheduled for December 4. The court has also granted bail to a man who was accused in the Northeast Delhi riots case, while stating that his call details which were presented before the court, they neither matched nor he was present in the CCTV to corroborate with the place of incident. Now let's proceed further and have a look at the Bombay High Court this week. The High Court has quashed a doctor's conviction for conducting a woman's prenatal test to determine the gender of her unborn child in the year 2006, saying that proper procedure was not followed while registering the complaint in this particular case. Seckling Technology Corporation, which is a UAE-based firm and also the highest bidder for the 28,500 crore Dharavi redevelopment project, whose tender was recently scrapped, has filed a suit in the High Court seeking damage of Rs 10,000 crore from the Maharashtra government for its decision to cancel the tender. The court, while hearing a contempt petition against a judicial magistrate first class, has observed that there was a huge disregard of binding precedents of superior court by the magistrate who is the respondent. The court thus directed the sessions judge to monitor the future performance of the magistrate for 1 year. The court has observed in a case that sexual assault charges cannot be slapped under the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences, popularly known as the POCSO Act, unless it is shown that the act was committed with sexual intent. Now let's move on to the Allahabad High Court and have a look at an important and significant and also a welcome decision which has come from there. The Honorable Allahabad High Court, in the case of Kamini Devi and another versus the state of UP and 4 others, has upheld the right of a couple to stay in a live-in relationship as they have the liberty to do so, and the court has also stated that no person shall be permitted to interfere with their liberty, which is protected under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution.
Now let's proceed with the miscellaneous segment of our news analysis.
Former High Court Judge C.S. Kernan has been arrested a month after he was booked for passing allegedly derogatory remarks against the sitting and former judges of High Court and the Supreme Court. Senior advocate and the president of Supreme Court Bar Association, Dushyant Dave, said that the recently passed farm bills by the central government, they are quote-unquote unconstitutional and illegal, and they will eventually promote profiteering and legalize the exploitative money lending system in the villages. The High Court of Jammu and Kashmir on 3rd of December designated 26 advocates as senior advocates. Bollywood lyricist Javed Akhtar has recorded a statement through his lawyer before a metropolitan court in Mumbai in connection with the complaint of defamation which he filed last month against actor Kangana Ranaut for allegedly passing baseless derogatory remarks against him in an interview. In another legal battle for Kangana, a Punjab-based lawyer has sent a legal notice to her for allegedly misidentifying an old woman at the farmers' protest in the national capital as Bilkis Bano, who is famously known as the Shaheen Bagh Dadi. Similarly, in connection with the same row of tweets, an advocate has filed a plea in the High Court of Bombay against her and sought suspension of her Twitter account on ground that she is spreading hatred and disharmony in the country through her derogatory tweets.
Now let's proceed with the last segment of our news analysis, which is the international news.
The first update that we have, it is coming from Pakistan. Former judge named Arshad Malik, who convicted the former Prime Minister of Pakistan Nawaz Sharif in the year 2018, dies of COVID-19. US Senate passed legislation raising country limit on the annual grant of green cards, the permanent residencies, that, when enacted, will stand to benefit hundreds of thousands of Indian origin applicants who currently face a statistical possibility of waiting for decades for their turns to come. The former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Nawaz Sharif, he was declared a proclaimed offender by the Islamabad High Court. US Supreme Court justices question human rights claims against Nestle and Cargill. Alright, so that's all we have for this week. Thank you for being with us, and the links of all these updates, they are made available in the description section for your kind perusal. You may refer to them, and thank you for being with us.